There's a question so simple that most people never think to ask it, but once you hear it, you will not be able to stop thinking about it. Why do you want more? Not more of any specific thing, just more, a better life, a bigger future, more money, more respect, more meaning. More of something you cannot always name but can always feel pulling at you from somewhere deep inside. You were born into a world with more comfort, more safety, and more opportunity than any human generation in history. And yet the wanting never stops, the dreaming never stops. The quiet dissatisfaction with where you are never fully disappears no matter how much you achieve or acquire or accomplish. Most people assume this is a personal flaw, a sign of ingratitude, a symptom of never being satisfied. But what if it isn't a flaw at all? What if this relentless wanting is the most sophisticated survival mechanism your brain has ever developed? What if the dream of a bigger future is not weakness but the very engine that built human civilization itself? Because that is exactly what the science suggests. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand something about your own ambition that will permanently change the way you see yourself, your dreams, and the quiet voice inside you that has always believed something bigger is possible. Let's start at the very beginning. 200,000 years ago, your ancestors woke up every single morning facing the same fundamental problem. Survival was not guaranteed. Food was not guaranteed. Safety was not guaranteed. The future was a dark and genuinely dangerous place where comfort was temporary and death was never far away. In that world, the humans who survived were not necessarily the strongest. They were not always the fastest. But they shared one specific psychological trait that separated them from those who didn't make it. They were never fully satisfied with what they had. They always scanned the horizon for more. More food, more shelter, more safety, more resources, more status within the group. That relentless forward-looking dissatisfaction was not a weakness. It was a weapon. And the brains that carried it survived long enough to pass it down, generation after generation. Hundreds of thousands of years of natural selection quietly building a mind that never fully settles, never fully stops wanting, never fully accepts that what exists today is enough for tomorrow. You are the descendant of the most ambitious humans who ever lived. Every generation before you that gave up, that fully settled, that stopped reaching forward, that stopped dreaming of something better, left fewer traces in the genetic story that eventually became you. Your ambition is not a personality trait. It is an inheritance. But here is where the neuroscience becomes truly remarkable. Inside your brain, there is a system so ancient and so powerful that it operates almost entirely below conscious awareness. You have heard of dopamine. Most people think of it as the pleasure chemical, the reward molecule, the thing that makes you feel good when something goes right. But that is not what dopamine actually does. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying dopamine neurons in the brain and discovered something that fundamentally changed how scientists understand human motivation. Dopamine doesn't fire when you get what you want. It fires when you expect to get what you want. It is not the chemical of pleasure. It is the chemical of anticipation, of reaching, of pursuing. The brain rewards the chase, not the catch. This is why the most exciting moment of buying something is usually right before you buy it. Why the most satisfying part of planning a trip is often the planning itself. Why the anticipation of something good frequently feels more powerful than the thing itself ever does. Your brain evolved to make the pursuit feel incredible because in the ancient world, stopping the pursuit meant stopping survival. A brain that felt satisfied after every small win would have stopped hunting too soon, would have stopped building too early, would have settled in a place that felt comfortable right up until the moment it became fatal. So your brain learns to keep the dopamine flowing during the chase, to make reaching feel better than arriving, to make the dream feel almost as real as the achievement. And this is why you keep dreaming even when you have failed before, even when the last goal didn't work out, even when every logical reason to stop exists. Because the dreaming itself is neurologically rewarding. The brain is not waiting for you to succeed to give you the feeling of motivation. It is giving you that feeling now, in advance, to make sure you keep moving. Your dreams are dopamine fuel, and your brain is an engine that runs on them. But something unexpected happens when you actually achieve the thing you wanted. Scientists call it hedonic adaptation, and it is one of the most humbling discoveries in all of psychology. The human brain has an almost miraculous ability to normalize almost any new circumstance within a surprisingly short period of time. The promotion you worked 3 years for feels extraordinary for approximately 2 weeks before it becomes your new normal. The house you saved for a decade becomes just where you live within months of moving in. The relationship you dreamed about becomes familiar. The income you once imagined as life-changing becomes the number you now feel you need slightly more of. This is not ingratitude, this is neurobiology. The brain's baseline resets continuously, not because what you have isn't enough, but because a brain that stayed permanently satisfied with any fixed level of achievement would stop pushing forward. And stopping forward movement in the ancient world was one of the most dangerous things a human could do. Hedonic adaptation is not a bug in your psychology. It is the feature that kept your ancestors hungry enough to survive another season. But here is what makes this discovery genuinely profound. If the brain always adapts to what you achieve, if satisfaction is always temporary, If the wanting never permanently stops, then what is the actual point of ambition? Why does the brain encourage you to dream of things it knows will only satisfy you briefly? The answer changes everything. Psychologist Tali Sharot at University College London spent years studying what she calls the optimism bias. She discovered that approximately 80% of all humans naturally and automatically overestimate how positive their future will be, across cultures, across income levels, across radically different life circumstances. The vast majority of human beings believe their future will be better than statistical probability actually suggests. At first, this sounds like simple delusion, like a harmless but meaningless psychological glitch. But Sharot's research revealed something far more significant. The optimism bias is not a mistake. It is a motivational engine. People who carry it persist longer through difficulty. They attempt more. They recover faster from failure. They take the risks that create the outcomes that change lives. The mildly delusional belief that your future will be better than the evidence currently suggests is one of the most powerful predictors of actually making your future better. Your brain doesn't encourage you to dream big because it has calculated that you will definitely succeed. It encourages you to dream big because the dreaming itself changes your behavior in ways that increase the probability of success. The dream is not the destination. The dream is the engine. And this engine was built for a reason that goes far beyond the individual. Here is something that very few people ever consider about human ambition. No other species on this planet builds for a future it will never personally experience. No other animal plants trees whose shade it knows it will never sit under. No other creature constructs systems, institutions, and ideas designed to benefit generations it will never meet. But humans do this constantly, and have done it throughout recorded history. The cathedrals of medieval Europe took over 100 years to build. The architects who designed them never saw them finished. The workers who laid the first stones died long before the last ones were placed, and yet they built anyway, with extraordinary care and extraordinary ambition. Why? Because the human brain doesn't just dream for itself, it dreams forward. It imagines futures it may never live to see and finds meaning in contributing to them anyway. This capacity for what psychologists call transcendent ambition is unique to our species, and it is the reason human civilization exists at all. Every piece of technology you use was built by someone dreaming of a future they wanted to create. Every medical breakthrough that extended human life was produced by a researcher ambitious enough to believe the impossible was worth attempting. Every institution, every system, every structure of modern life was the product of human minds that refused to accept that what existed was the best that was possible. Ambition is not selfishness. At its deepest level, ambition is the mechanism through which the human species improves itself across time. But there is a shadow side to all of this that science cannot ignore. The same neurological system that produces humanity's greatest achievements also produces its greatest suffering. The brain that never fully settles, that always wants more, that continuously resets its baseline upward, is also the brain that never feels quite enough. That compares itself constantly to others, that measures its progress against an internal standard that keeps moving just beyond reach. Evolutionary psychologist David Buss has spent decades studying status competition across human cultures and found that social comparison is not a modern invention created by social media. It is ancient, universal, hardwired. The brain constantly and automatically measures itself against the people around it because in the ancestral environment, your relative status within the group determined your access to resources, mates, and survival advantages. The anxiety you feel when someone you know achieves something significant is not jealousy in the shallow sense. It is your threat detection system firing exactly as it was designed to, your brain interpreting social comparison as survival-relevant information. Understanding this doesn't make the feeling disappear, but it does reveal something important. You are not broken for feeling it. You are ancient. And here is the final layer of this that brings everything together. If the wanting never permanently stops, if achievement always adapts, if the dream always moves forward, then the question most people are secretly asking is this: is any of it worth it? If satisfaction is always temporary, if success always becomes the new normal, if the brain always wants more, then why keep chasing anything at all? The answer is not what most people expect. Research on human well-being consistently shows that the people who report the highest levels of life satisfaction are not the ones who achieve the most. They are the ones who found meaning in the pursuit itself, who fell in love with the process of becoming rather than the destination of having arrived, who understood consciously or instinctively that the brain was never designed to arrive, it was designed to travel. The goal was never to reach a place where the wanting stops. The goal was to want something worth wanting, to direct the ancient engine of human ambition towards something large enough, meaningful enough, and connected enough to other people that the journey itself becomes the reward. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps and spent his life studying human meaning, wrote that the most powerful motivational force in human existence is not pleasure and not the avoidance of pain, it is the pursuit of meaning. A reason to keep moving that is larger than the self and longer than a lifetime. Your brain never stops wanting more because it was built by millions of years of survival to keep reaching forward. But what you reach for is the only choice that was ever fully yours. The wanting is ancient, the direction is everything. Every human who ever lived felt the same pull you feel right now. The same quiet belief that something bigger is possible. The same restless dissatisfaction with where they are. The same dream of a future that doesn't exist yet but feels somehow inevitable if they just keep moving toward it. That feeling is not a flaw. It is the most human thing about you. And what you do with it is the only question that has ever really mattered. If this changed the way you think about your own ambition, your own dreams, and the relentless wanting that drives you forward even when logic says to stop, subscribe. Because understanding why your brain works the way it does is not just fascinating. It is the foundation of every meaningful thing you will ever build.